of new construction. What she has given us. It's magnificent, it's unimaginable. I'll give you a flavor of what it is going to be. I can only give you a flavor. You have to see it. First of all, the temple we had before was about 7,000, 8,000 square feet. The new temple she is going to grant us would be almost 25,000 square feet. You can see the size is going to be magnificent. And she's going to give us many more Sannidhanams. Why we need that, I don't know. You would know, each one of you need something. And she wants to make sure, not only those who are here, those who are in the world, they should have the benefit of those cosmic energy which will manifest in the world and grant you what you have been asking for many lifetimes. And the result would be that. So that be the most magnificent temple. And we don't plan. We cannot plan that kind of a temple. The origin itself is very mystical, and many, many mystical things have happened. So this is not like a regular temple which is planned by people like us who get together out of devotion, they build. But that would be human. The conception would be human. But here you would see the way she has planned it and she has granted it to us. That cannot be human because that's very profound and very detailed. And many deities, most of you probably wouldn't even have heard about it. But for some of you, you have asked for that. When? I don't know. Sometime in the eternity you had asked for it, and this time she will grant you, and you would know it. Can I have the first slide, please? You have a pointer? I can point. We have a model of this in the temple entrance, so you can see it. It's just the most magnificent Sannidhanams. She had already given us the most magnificent Raja. I don't want to call it Raja Gopuram. I would call it Raja Sannidhanam. What is the difference? In the Raja Gopuram, we install deity, the images. That's all we can do. But when we built it the way she designed and the way she made us do, took almost 7 years to do that. She said, if you put my aspect there, so many of them, 520, now it's 580. But you have to do abhishekams. How would you do that? How would I do that? I cannot do that. We can't go and do abhishekam. Then she said, no, I will grant you an item which would be called Shakti Garbha. Shakti Garbha, you cannot see it. It is buried underneath Tripura Sundari. Next to it, you can see. And underneath Tripura Sundari, it's buried there. So it cannot be seen. In Jewish tradition, they had similar thing. They call it Ark of the Covenant. The covenant they made with God, with Moses brought down from the mount, and that was kept in that ark. It's called Ark of the Covenant. And that's what gave the religion that much power, small number of people. The whole world is only 14 million or 15 million Jewish. But look what they have accomplished. You look at last century, most of the Nobel Prizes, most of the things. But most of the punishment were given to them. That's a covenant. If you break the covenant, you pay the price. So they paid a heavy price, but they received a lot of grace. And that was mediated through the Ark of the Covenant. What happened to that? No one knows. It is here someplace in Europe. There are speculations, or in Ethiopia, someplace, but no one knows where it is. But the energy is there. And that energy from the cosmos gives those people who believe in the tradition, the energy, the intellect, the ability to perform. Small number of people, what they have done. Can you imagine? Economically, every way, they have done a lot. So this gives you an idea what it's going to be. You will see it. It will take us probably 2 years to complete. Hopefully we will do that. But it will be magnificent. The planning itself is very nice. All the deities' names you will see. Next slide, please. These are all the deities. And you can get a copy of that from the front desk and take it home. And you will feel familiar. With some of the names you would have never heard of it. But something in your soul would say, you ask for it. And I grant you. Many of them you know. Some of them you do not know. Some of them unusual. But I won't spend time on that because you have to go over that. Because this is between you, Atman, and Paramatman. That is your agreement, your decision, your need, your desire, and she would satisfy you. So that you would know. When you see it, when you come and worship to that deity, your Atman will be pleased because it waited for that. You won't know it now. With the mind, you won't know. It has to be through the Atman. For that, this installation has to be complete. So we will do that. We will do our best to do what she asked us to do. It will be the most magnificent temple with 24 Sannidhanams, very unusual. And we cannot plan. You won't even know. Many of them you're familiar, some of them you're not familiar. But it's not your familiarity. It's her knowledge about you, what your soul wanted, what connection. She has millions and millions of aspects of her, cosmic aspects of her. And they're all energy. See, it's all scientific. These cosmic energies are real. We don't see it. See, right here in 1 cc, there are millions and millions of organisms. Do we see it? No. But they exist, we know that. Similarly, these cosmic energies exist and they connect to us through prana, through Manomaya Kosha, through Vijnanamaya Kosha. They are constantly connected to us. And that is life. Prana is life. And it could be non-generic, just an energy aspect, but it could be very personal once it's connected to your mind, your higher intellect, and your Atman. Then it becomes personal. Till the time it's very routine. Prana, energy is energy, but it's not personalized. But in this temple, she has become personal. That means she knows you because you asked for it for many, many lifetimes. How many? Hundreds of thousands of lifetimes. Like Krishna Bhagavan said to Arjuna, I have known you 830,000 times, almost 1 million times, but you don't remember me. But I do know you every time what you are. So that many times we have evolved from one cell to this multiple complex with the mind, body, intellect. It took that long. But we have come to this far. So in earth, we are the highest, most complex, most highest. But we are the most vulnerable. Look at this little piece of protein, what it has done. The COVID. Just a piece of protein, nothing. What it can do. So because in Asuric level, this is Kali Yuga. It is the age of Asuras. Asuras have to be given certain thing. And she forewarned us, and she said, build me a house, I'll protect the world when that time comes. And time has come already. There'll be more tragedies, but she'll protect us. This simple virus, COVID, 100 years ago killed 33 million people. Went right through 33 million. That time would be probably 100 million now. But it wasn't bad now. We lost maybe 100,000 or 200,000. In the world, maybe 500,000. That's nothing compared to 33 million in this country alone. 1917, 18, during the time frame. They called it Spanish flu. It has nothing to do with Spain. But they called it Spanish flu. So similarly, there are so many dangers towards the earth. We don't know. We are not even aware of it. Just, I think a year ago or 9 months ago, when meteor came very close, they never even published it. It came close as moon. Moon is about 250,000 miles. The earth magnetic thing will pull it, the gravitational pull. There's no way that would not hit the earth. Just 8 months ago, look at the astronomical magazine, you'll see it. There's no way that could have passed by. Because Earth's gravitational force. This was coming towards, and just she moved it. Nobody knows. Many, many dangers like that Earth has gone through, will go through, and she'll protect us. I was surprised when I saw that. That close in a cosmic scale is like a hair's breadth, 250,000 miles. It's nothing. And there's no way it cannot hit the Earth. It is coming towards it, moved away. Recently, you can look at Google, you'll find it, you'll find the information. I referred it to you. There are many, many dangers like that facing us. So that's the reason she said, you build my house, bring my aspects, all of them comes from her. She is supreme consciousness. She is the one, she is Mahamari. Today she gave us darshan as Kamakshi Ambika. Such a beautiful thing. There's a very deep mystical meaning about Kamakshi. You know, she was dear to Manmata. When Manmata was burned, she was not happy. So she left Shiva and moved to Kanchi. That's why in Kanchipuram, there won't be a Shiva Sannidhanam there. She's alone. But this is mythology. But there's a meaning behind it, because Manmata is a very important deity. We don't give importance to him. It's probably one of the most important. Without that, there is no procreation. Without that presence, there is no existence of life itself. So he's very important. So he is present in astral form, not in a physical form. So she is mother. And today she gives darshan to us as Kamakshi Ambika. What a beautiful alankaram our priest did. So blessed we are to be able to see her during Navarathri. So Navarathri is important scientifically, because during the time certain constellations move around. These constellations are huge. Each constellation, if we take Pleiades, it will have thousands of suns, that much energy in it, the Pleiades. There are many constellations. They move constantly. Everything moves. The whole universe moves. And when they move, the relationship between that and the earth, certain cosmic energy are more active. If we are aware of that, we take advantage of it. We accentuate that. To do that, you have to know that. And she has to choose it. So Navaratri time is a very important time. Each day, so these are all very mystical, deeply symbolic, mystical, and no one would know. But our ancients knew that. In Panchangam, they mentioned this long ago. 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 years ago, these rishis, they meditated and they found and they wrote. That exists even now. Our Panchangam is based on that. And that's obviously not intellect. That's something beyond intellect. Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya. That's higher forms of her. But all comes from one. See, we are very monotheistic religion. Who will believe it? 330 million gods. You go and tell someone we are monotheistic, they won't even believe you. But the fact is that it all comes from one source, different manifestation. And our ancients identified them. Science could not identify them. Science knows certain limit. But as science evolves, maybe, but not right now. But we know about the constellations, we know the movements of them, but we do not know how they affect the humans or any life form. But because we have it in Panchangam, and during the time, we take advantage of it. We think of divine, we come and worship the divine in various forms. But the Atman knows. The pranic energy knows. So during that time, you take advantage of it. Now, how would we know that? Nobody can give you this information. It comes from her. She says, during this time, you come to me and think of me and accentuate your energy so the Atman and Paramatman can unite and you can come up to me. It says, you will come up to my level. One day, we'll all become one again. Big crunch, just like Big Bang, there'll be a big crunch. But this is anatomical crunch. What we are talking about is spiritual connection. Okay, I just gave you a flavor of that, and the list is out there. You can see what all the Sannidhanam. They'll be magnificent. And the first one would be done hopefully by February. Can I have that's the first one. Magnificent. Much, much bigger than what we had before. The sizes, it'll be a huge. Mother would be there, and that'll be the first Sannidhanam. And we are trying very hard to finish it by February, March time frame. We'll do our best. But ultimately in this temple, whatever she desires will happen. We do our best. The reason is we have to earn. And our earning comes from our effort. She has a plan. But we have to do like we doing it, with the devotion, with the reverence, with bhakti. When we do them, that Atman in us is pleased. And the Atman is pleased, it ascends, it connects. So that will be the first one. Hopefully we'll have it by February, March, and you'll get to see it. We'll open the temple at that time. Next slide, please. Yeah, she is a personal goddess. I repeatedly say that. She's very personal to us. It's not like religions claim there's God and we want to reach them. But here it's not like that. She knows why we are here, where we came from, where we are going to go. All the mystical questions, she knows the answer, and she knows us, and she connects to of you. Many of you are here, some of you are not here, some of you are outside, and some of you, our devotees, Middle East, they're actually not even Hindus, the Muslims. And we have devotees because somehow they hear, they feel it, and they contact us and they let us know. There's one person, very wealthy sheikh, he called me once and told me about 4 years ago. He said, "Doctor, wonderful thing you're doing because we get to watch it in the media." Then I asked him a very logical question. I knew him, I knew his father. His name is Sheikh Abdullah. I say, "Abdullah, you are a Muslim?" He said, "Yes." "You're a good Muslim?" He said, "Yes, I'm a very devoted Muslim. 5 times a day I look at Mecca and worship it." Then I said, "But Abdullah, you're committing a crime and a sin. You're not supposed to know this and you're not supposed to believe this. You have your own path." He said, "Doctor, you can say whatever you want. I can tell you this. If Muhammad sees what you people are doing, you'll be very pleased. He won't call you heathens." And I told him, "We are heathens according to your book, and you're not supposed to believe in all this. You're not even supposed to know these things." But this young man is in 30s. He's obviously evolved soul. He understands. So he made the statement, Muhammad would have allowed it. And that's a very heretical statement. You're not supposed to, they're not supposed to. Okay, here this gives you a flavor of what is mantra and how it's important. Mantra is the soul of the yantra. Mantra is a sound, nada Brahman, each one. And you have to identify that particular mantra. How is it possible? Mother knows it's very difficult. Rishis have heard that. Rishis have seen the mantra, not hearing the mantra alone, seeing the mantra, and that is a deity. That mantra is a deity. So she knows it's almost impossible. So she is manifested as Mantra Sri Devi. Mantra Sri Devi will have her own Sannidhanam here. You would never see that anywhere. Mantra Sri Devi. What she does, she gives you the grace to understand mantras and to be able to see the mantra, and that will be the deity. You will see the deity. And many of our devotees have Kundalini experiences. They have seen these cosmic energies. They are the deities. Many times I have seen, and I won't go into it. So mantra is a sound, not the Brahman. And that particular vibration becomes connected to us, and that becomes a deity. That's why we have so many deities and so many mantras. And here, mantra has to be given by a guru. In this temple, there's only one guru. That is Paramaguru. I'll come in the next slide. She would give you the mantra. How would she give it to you? You may see it in the temple, you may hear from our homa. Somehow, it will reach you and you will reach it. And yantra we have. and you can't get to see it. In that Shakti Garbha, there are many, many mystical items, the 63 herbs, which attract the cosmic energy. But as I said, that is buried already. Maybe I'll make a replica of the Shakti Garbha and keep it underneath the mother so you get to see it. But those herbs, mystical vibrations are obtained by many siddhas. They are gone. But they got it and gave it because mother instructed them. He needs it for that place of mind, so you give it to him. So they gave it to me and I put it in that. So this temple has it, all the vibrations underneath the mother. There are many, many mystical objects mother has given. And see it. There are many gurus who, many Maharishis are here. And next talk, Pratiniti Yatra, I'll tell you how she gets it for you, for the devotees, in the world, not only here. And one of them who helped in this temple is Venkateswara Dikshidhar. He was a mystic. He was a close compatriot of Mahaperiyava. You would not have seen him. Mahaperiyava is passed away. Kanchi Kamakodi. He was his contemporary, and mother brought him. And he was a mentor for all the Dikshidhars in Chidambaram. Chidambaram temple, he was a mentor, not just a priest, he was a mystic. And mother, it's a complex story. She made him come here. He was not even supposed to leave across the ocean. That is tradition. Many times he came, stayed here, and did the yantra. He was a master yantra maker. Yantra maker is impossible to find. Because these yantras, those lines are very profound. Those lotuses, those triangles, those tetragram, they're very profound, and each one is very specific for that deity. So that yantra maker has to know that deity. Has to have connection, communication. Then only you can make the yantra. You can't find it. How would you find a yantra maker? He was a master yantra maker. Mahaperiyava used to say he would have opened hundreds of temples in India. He would tell the people who come all over India, they'll come to Mahaperiyava, Sankaracharya, and say, please bless the temple. He says, no, I cannot do that. Go to Swarna Venkateswara Dikshidhara. Tell him to make the yantra. Put that yantra in the temple, then we'll bless it. Otherwise, me coming won't do that. You got to invite that devata. To do that, you got to have the right yantra. To do that, that man has to be talking to the deity. Is it possible? It's impossible. It cannot happen. But it did happen. He came 3 times. He made all the yantras and did it because it's her temple. She made sure that energy would be available for all of us to reach. Otherwise, it won't be available. You can build a temple. The story was the Ambani, about a year and a half ago, came to our Sthapati, the Shilpi, and he said, we heard about this Rajagopuram. We want to make one like that in Bombay. I'll give you whatever money you need and the best land in Bombay. Our Sthapati has told him, I can't do that. And the man was very upset. Why can't you do it? I'll give you 100 crores if it's necessary. I'll give you the land in Bombay. What is the problem? You made one, reproduce it. And he told him, no, this is a mystical temple. Only mother can do it. She has to come and give me direction to make this temple. I built many temples. I'll make one for you. No problem. You give 100 crores, give me a land, I'll make it. It won't be this, because this has to be made. You know, the story is, when we picked the Sthapati, he told me and the Sthapati, you cannot build the temple. You have to have Visvakarma to give direction. You know who Visvakarma is? Heavenly architect. So I told the Sthapati, tell that man, his uncle came, Ambani's uncle came and talked to me. Don't tell him you won't do it or you can't do it. He won't believe it. Tell the truth. This temple came through Visvakarma because we invited Sthapati, did a special homa, invited Visvakarma, who came for that homa, and a special mantra came. Do you know, I don't have any knowledge about the mantra. It's gone. It was there for that day. He came, did the homa, and gone. So Vishwakarma is gone. That means it cannot be built anymore by a human. That's a fact. So I told Ambani, tell him the truth. It is not that he won't do it. He'll take the money and do it, but it won't be that. It will be a Hollywood artificial thing. It won't be real. And I have to tell you that. So that's a story. There are many, many stories behind this temple. I can't tell you all of it. Okay. So he came and he did everything. The mystical nature of our temple to devotees is a privilege. And every abhishekam we do here, Mother said, all my devotees who come and observe the abhishekam, I take it as if they did it to me. You know, you can't do that. In India, you can't do Nagapan. Where is Nagapan? Nagapan is a board of director, very, very blessed soul. And he was telling me this morning, he said, Doctor, in India, we can't even go and touch it. Here we do abhishekam to Mother. She accepts it because we are special and she gives the privilege. Am I right? He told me that this morning. And he is right. You can't do that. Unless you're special, unless she wants you to do that. So here she said, anyone who comes and observes abhishekam perform for me, I take it as each one of them did it. What a magnificent gift. You cannot get that gift anywhere, any place, any time. She's so kind. But you earned it. Sometime in eternity, in the past 100,000s of birth, you earned that right. Something you have done it, and you asked her for that. One time, you come to me. Personal. I get like my own goddess. And she is that personal goddess. Okay, next slide. I'll quickly run through. I won't have the time otherwise. Okay, now how do you, she is giving the grace and you asked for it many, many times. How do you get it? You got to, consumption has to be there. She'll grant all of us the grace. But we have to consume. And the consumption comes from our effort. Bhakti, devotion, sacrifice. Renunciation, it's an important term, renunciation. But Mother said, no, I don't want you to renounce anything. See, she's Kamakshi. She says, desire, enjoy it. But don't be attached to that. Because attachment will bring sadness. So don't be attached to that. But you can enjoy me. Enjoy any pleasures in life as long as they're dharmic. Make sure they're dharmic. But nothing wrong. So you don't go through that nivritti. You know, there's pravrti and nivritti. You know the term? Pravrti is a normal path. All the human goes through that. You born, you marry, your children, you enjoy. That's a pravrti marga. That's normal. Nivritti is renunciation. You're only interested in spiritual life, not in the earthly life. That's called nivritti marga. So Mother here says, I want you to have both. Enjoy pravrti, but also I will make sure by many, many things I will do for you. And all these are examples of what all she is doing for us. Through that, I will give you nivritti. You do pravrti. But I'll grant you the grace. That word is grace. To get that, we have to do something. To do that, she gives us a challenge. She gives us this magnificent building. Build it. I'll give you everything needed. I'll give you the mantras, I'll give you the special souls to come and help you. Many, many siddhas I meet, and I go to Himalayas very often. We meet many of them. And they all know about our temple. So she makes sure we receive her. What we have to do, that's why I tell people, she has given a gold mine, and I'm showing it to you, but bring some pots and pans to take the gold. You can't carry it. So bring some pots and pans and take it. She has given it to us. She has identified the gold mine. She has given privilege to me to own it and distribute it. But you have to come and take it. You have to bring pots and pans. What is pots and pans? Is our, you can call it sacrifice, but it's not the right term. But I don't have any better term. than say sacrifice. You have to give something dear to you, to her. And that the minute you think like that, it becomes a negative connotation. Something you are sacrificing. But it's really not sacrifice, because in return, she has become a personal goddess to you. And for that privilege, you will give anything. What can be more important than that? So she's given us the gold mine. She says, come and take it. But bring some pots and pans to carry it. That's all. In a simplest way, I can explain to you that way. So all this you can do, any one of them. And what you can give is up to you. She doesn't want to be strained, but same token, it should be dear to you. Something dear. And then in return, you get million times benefit. But all this, various ways. But if she doesn't grant us these various ways, we won't have a chance to be able to do that. You won't know where to invest. Long-term investment. We see all about investment in television. Which is a long-term investment? Look at Steve Jobs. In 1 minute, he was gone. And he had $20 billion worth of Apple stocks. That was the value of the Apple stock when he left us. Young, in 50s, he left us. He was a young man. He had pancreatic cancer. So 1 minute, everything is gone. Where is a long-term investment? To me, long-term investment is what we are making. That goes on for many, many lifetimes. That's why you get the privilege of doing it here. This is, to me, is truly a long-term investment. But this will come only if you have the blessing and the grace of Mother. We cannot earn that. It has to be given. To do that, you have to have invoked her many, many times, not one lifetime. That's why Mother always says, don't rush. I've given you enough lifetime. If you have that many lifetime, you have time. It's eternal. So don't rush. Do it right. Take your time. So that's the reason why Krishna Bhagavan told Arjuna, you've lived 841,000 and you don't remember any of it. But this time it's important for you, I came. So time we have. Time is all we have, because once you leave the mind, body, intellect enslavement, there's no time. It's eternal. It's always there. Technically, Earth is 4.5 billion, or close to that age. But there are many, many universes before that. There are many universes will be there. We don't even know. You know, only one universe. Now they're talking about multiverse. There are many universes we don't know. Where do they exist? It exists in different time frame, different mindset, different level of consciousness. At one level we know this is all the facts, this is the universe, this is the solar system, this is the earth, in that conscious, in that level. But there are many levels of consciousness. So different level, they may be different universes. And science accepts now there are many other universes we don't know of, because our consciousness is not tuned to that. Okay, so look at all this she has given us. To me, these are the privileges she has given. We have to take advantage of it. What you do, it's up to you. She will choose. Like Vikram, they're sitting there. Vikram used to be here all the time, helping me. But he got busy a couple of years ago, so he had to do something else. She pulled him back now. Now he's back. And he's doing many good things in the construction, because he knows he is needed. And she gives him the privilege. But it has to be a blessing. He cannot ask for it. She has to give it, and she's granted him. Look at Shiva. Shiva told me once, 10 years ago, he said, Doctor, I never believed in all this. I'm essentially an atheist. I don't believe in all this. But I listened to you one talk. I don't know what talk that is. Something woke up in me, and I see the science behind it, the logic behind it. Then I changed. So that is a transformation. That time something happened to his soul, Atman. It woke up and said, what am I doing all this thing? They're useless. They're temporary, short-term investment. I want something long-term. So he spends most of the time here. He's a computer a specialist operator, but spends a lot of time. But I have nothing to do with that. I cannot do that, because he told me he didn't even believe in any of this. In other words, he was an atheist by definition. But now he's the most devoted. Again, he does it logically. Whatever keeps his soul happy, he does it. And that's a great privilege. I know what a privilege he has. And many, many people like that. I use the word waking up. They just wake up. And when they wake up, they get enormous benefit. And they're in a different world. See, this mind, body, intellect is one world. There are many other planes of consciousness. And they're different world. And you wake up to that. In fact, that song, temple song, that's the thing I was listening to that. It says, you do this, I'll make you, winner means devas. I'll make you a winner. Not just human, go to Vaikuntha, complete the travel as a human. That happens. Then you come back again and continue the journey to a higher level of consciousness. That would be super sensuous levels. Yakshinis, Mohinis, Vidyadharas, Gandharvas, all the super sensual, this temple is full of them. All the super sensual forces are that forces. They are not restricted by mind, body, intellect alone. They are fine beings, higher vibration. Everything is vibration. She started vibrating. Then only she decided, I'll create myself into trillion and experience them. So she became us. And then we evolve. And she gives us ability to evolve and to know. How many people in the world knows? Hindus, we are fortunate because we had the tradition of Atman, permanency, temporary shelter, all the koshas, Manomaya, Pranamaya, Vijnanamaya, Annamaya. So we know that 5 koshas of us. So we are intuitively know that from birth. So we are blessed that way. But others don't know that. They know only the organs and the life as they perceive. Life to me is prana. Prana is the life. And when it densitizes, it becomes mind, then higher mind, then Anandamaya. Then beyond that is divine. And those are all higher vibratory forces. They exist all the time around us. And this place is known for the supersensual forces. Many of you have felt them, and many miraculous things have happened here. Okay, so look at it and get a copy from our directors, and they'll give it to you. And you can do whatever you can. But please, take the gold. Don't leave it behind. That's the worst thing you could do. Because you asked for that for many, many times, and she's identified the mind and given it to you. So take it. It's the greatest blessing. Okay, the uniqueness of our temple. Now, this is normal. You see this, it's a simple slide. I've used it many times. See, the minute you're born, you are ignorant. You don't have any chance to break through this bondage. You are identified. I am identified as one. And that's a name given to me. That's what I would be. That's what my profession would be. I go through the travel, then I die. That is determined. How do you break through that cycle? That's what people do, all these yogas. Bhakti yoga, karma yoga, jnana yoga, raja yoga. Takes many, many, many lifetimes. You do that. You need to do that to break through that embodiment, enslavement, and to know the knowledge. And Ganesha comes, he is a beginner. He comes, starts giving you the knowledge, but you have to go through this. It takes many, many lifetimes. Here, this is our temple. See that Paramaguru. Para means origin. Ma is mother, Guru. She is Paramaguru. She is the only Guru. She is the only one who is capable of giving you the right mantras, yantras, tantras, all that she will give you. I can't see that from here. Can you focus it a little better so they can all see it? Okay. What she has, yeah, you have to move the structure. So they cannot see it otherwise. Okay, maybe they can. I was trying to point out the smaller ones, but it's okay. We'll go to next one, next thing. What she has granted us, when she first came to me 50 years ago and said, I'll give you a blessing to build my house one day. That's 55 years ago. Then she came back 25, 30 years ago and said, now is the time. World's going to go through major trouble. You built my house now. So my cosmic energy will come and protect the world. That's a prediction. That's what's happening now. What she granted us is Atmajnana, because once you realize your Atman, that I am not just my mind, body, intellect, I am my soul. That means I know who I am. I'm just not the shell. Annamaya kosha, manomaya, pranamaya kosha, manomaya kosha, vijnanamaya kosha, anandamaya kosha. That is me. And that is my soul. And that has to connect. So that's called self-realization. That's a beautiful term. Self-realization. That is myself. And this state is also a very gifted state. Sahaja Samadhi. Many of you are doing it, you don't know it. What you're doing, your regular work, periodically you slip into Sahaja Samadhi. That's ultra-cognitive spiritual absorption. It's very deep. Krishna Bhagavan tells that. He taught that to his closest devotee, for God's name. Anyway, ultra-cognitive spiritual absorption. That means you can do whatever work, but always remember the divine spark in you, through which you can connect to Paramatma. Think of it, keep it in mind all the time, but continue to do what you're doing. That's called Sahaja Samadhi. That state is granted to us. People who come here and ask Mother, she'll grant you the state. And then you can do both. This is very I just put it in. It may not be that important, but it is important to me. Because when we got this land, we knew it was virgin land. Billion years, nobody touched it. It was kept for us to build the temple. So we built it. During the construction, we realized there's a running river underneath. That complicated the whole thing. Because we had to put piling, go underneath the river, go to the ground. That costed us extra money. We didn't know that. But the fact is, temple built in the river would be the holiest one. And the divine energy would connect to you. That is mythology. So, temples built on a river. We didn't plan it. We didn't even know there was a river there. But she made sure there was one. It caused us challenges, but at least it was granted to us. Otherwise, we would not have known, I would not have known. You would have built the temple. You won't know the difference. So there's a running river. We put piling underneath and then built it. So that's a story of this temple built on the river. So like that, many, many things she has done, about which we are not cognizant or knowledgeable, but she has done that. What we needed, what our Atman needed, she has granted is knowingly or unknowingly to us. She knows, of course, but we would not know them. And this is the very gift we have. Pitrus are very active here. Pitrus are your ancestor, going back to thousands of years. I don't know how many years, but they are your ancestors. They love this place. They come often. That's why Mahalaya Amavasya we do special functions. Because you should take advantage of knowing them and pleasing them. Do you think of them? How many people think of Pitrus? They don't even know what Pitrus are. Pitrus are our forefathers. They gave us the genes, they gave us the DNA, and they gave us a mind, and they gave us the fate. So Pitrus are very important to us. And many of our Pitrus would be you. You would have come back in this form. Sometime it may not be. But so Pitrus you should think of. When I start the home all the time, I think of my Pitrus. I think of the Pitrus of people known to me. Because they love it. For us to know them, think of them, and ask the divine, please help them in the travel. Because they are traveling towards Vaikuntha. And they don't have anything. Because they are naked. They are orphans essentially. All the karmic benefit, everything is gone. It's all either cancelled or kept. But they can't consume it. We have to give. So our thought, our affection, our consideration pleases them. When they are pleased, you are happy. Nice things happen to you. When they are not pleased, bad things happen to you. Not that they want bad things to us. They would not wish that for us. That's the nature of the connection. So Pitrus are very important, and this place is rich in Pitrus. So she makes you come and you think of them and do something. Ask mother, help them, help my Pitrus. That's all. She's not asking. They're not asking anything. If you do them, you get enormous benefit. If you don't, you don't. And they really hurt. Pitrus are unhappy, your life is unhappy. Not because they want it, your soul wants it that way. So think of the Pitrus every chance you get. Next slide, please. Okay, this is Tirtha Pita. Many people, Siddhas in India, and many gurus who came, they always refer to the place as Tirtha Pita. That means this is a holy place, and it's the entrance to Devaloka. There's one guru from Bombay who comes here. You may know him. He always refers to this place. This is a Devaloka, entrance to Devaloka. You know what it means? You get familiar to the super-sensual forces. Who are they? Yakshinis, Vidyadharas, God, but not human. They are super-sensual vibrations. Once you get to know them, once mother grants them to you, once mother gives information to you and the kindness to you to connect them, when you're ready to go there, you're not in a new place. Like Columbus came first time, he was unfamiliar, but you'll be in a familiar ground. So that's a great benefit to know that, and this place grants you that, the familiarity to those forces. But you got to get to know the forces. You got to know their existence. You got to know who they are and how you touch them or how you let them touch you. Touched by mother. I use the word touched by divine. So look at all that. Shanmata Pita. She made sure all the 6 aspects of Hinduism are represented here. Did we plan it? No. We didn't even know that. Swami Mama identified it first. He said, God, this is a Shanmata Pita. How did you do it? I said, I didn't even know. That was 6 systems in Hinduism. Adi Shankara identified it. And here she made it. We didn't even plan it. That's one example how so many things she does it because we need it. And we don't know it. And all this powerful devas and devata, all the cosmic energy. I use the word high vibratory energy. That's a fact. You give any name you want, you personalize them with the various name, various sannidhanams you have, you personalize. It's okay. Nothing wrong with that. When you personalize the energy is easier to reach because you personalize them. It's a very deeply psychological truth. And Nagadevatas. Nagadevatas are very important. Look at all the deities. You see that serpent. That's a representation of Naga. That is Kundalini. Ultimately, it is Kundalini. Kundalini has to wake up. If you don't, it's woken up. All of you, Kundalini woken up. Why I say that? Because you are human. If you are human, your Kundalini is awake. But it's not moved up. It is still in Mooladhara. And Ganesha would help to raise it up. But it is woken up. So your Kundalini is awake. But you have to accentuate it, raise it, take it to various levels, and understand the reality. When you understand the reality, then Kundalini energy is active. Anyway, Nagadevatas represent them. So we are going to a beautiful Sannidhanam inside. Nagaraja, Nagashakti. Because these are all important. You may think these are all superstitious. No, it's not. They exist in us. They exist outside. But you have to be aware. Everything is awareness. If you're not aware of something, that thing doesn't exist. Even science accepts it now. You have to be aware. So Nagadevatas we will have. Now we have 2. I was very happy last week. We installed them again because they were not installed in the construction. We made them, we gave them a space. Now they are very pleased now. Yakshas, Kinnara, these are all cosmic energy. This place is full of them. And many of our devotees have experiences with these energies. Pitrus. Stalavriksha, you would never hear it. In temple, nobody would know what is Stalavriksha. We have special trees with spirits in them. And that man who installed it is not even a Hindu, he's an American, a scientist. He contacted us and said, I want to bring a tree from Greece. And strangely, that tree came from island of Kos, where Hippocrates is the father of medicine. Hippocrates meditated, practiced medicine 2,500 years ago. I would not have known it. But he said, "Doctor, I want to come and install it." I said, "How do you know that we needed it?" You know what he said? He said, "There's one spirit comes to me. It has a big trunk. It has a big ear. It looks like an elephant." You know who that was? Ganesha. He didn't know that because he doesn't know our tradition. I immediately recognized. So Ganesha has told him, "Go, plant it. This place needs it." Because the children who are going to come need to have that energy. Would you have known it? You would never have heard of it. He installed it. His name, I forgot. I will invite him. David Millard. His name is David Millard. He was a well-known man. He was on television. He was an authority in trees. And trees have spirit. Bodhi tree had a spirit. That's how Buddha got the enlightenment. Many, many trees have spirits. They have existed thousands of years. They are life forms. They don't move, but they have. Their fate is to contemplate as a plant, and they evolve. Everything evolves. Everything has a life and energy. So Sthala Viriksha, that term you would not have heard of. In a temple, it is needed. If you want to be complete, if you want to communicate. I use the word communication now. It's not like Verizon communication. It's a million times more powerful communication than Verizon. The communication is between human and high vibratory energies. All these aspects. That's the communication. And that takes many, many lifetimes to establish that kind of communication, because we don't know about the existence, because mind, body, intellect is limited only to that level. So you have to wake up, you have to become self-realized, then the divine has to want it. That's called grace. The divine should want it because you earned it. You earned that grace many, many lifetimes, and you'll get it now. So that is very important. Bhakti, grace, they're all important. Devotion. So Sthala Vriksha. So now you know this place has it. Came from Greece. And strangely, Hippocrates was the person who meditated. Kos, island of Kos in Greece. And here, every year I go many times to Himalayas, mostly to the holy rivers. Because rivers have energy. Rivers have consciousness. Look at Nile. Look at other rivers. They all have life. Civilizations flourish with that energy in certain civilizations. Nile is one example. Amazon is another example. Ganges. So she said, bring that energies of all these holy rivers from India to here so that it can nourish my people and the earth. So I go each time, and symbolically she wanted representation of Ganges. See, Ganges is Divine Mother. She came as a river, but she had her own identity as a deity. So we're going to have it in front. It'll be magnificent. Ganges will be descending. Shiva Bhagavan will be sitting and meditating, and it'll catch in the mat because earth cannot stand her. So you have to contain her and then let it go. So that representation, we have to make it. You can participate in that. You can help in the construction of that. That will be a huge benefit for you to be able to do that. So similarly, we have so many Sannidhanams. You can participate in making it and get the benefit. Long-term investment, not short-term, long-term, truly long-term. So every time I go, I visit them, and they are real. They are all deities. This one deity, she came just 2 years ago. She said, I was here from the beginning. I've been nourishing you. I'm Apa. You know Apa? Water. I'm water deity. She gave me the name. Ambuja. Ambika is my name. But nobody thinks of me. I'm the one, 70% of you is me. Then I thought, God, we should give her the recognition. So I thought, how do I give it? Then I thought, maybe we'll make a temple tank. See that there? And a little temple, and that will be Sannidhanam for Ambuja, Ambika. That is 70% of us, water. Now, all these concepts, how would I have thought of it? I would never think of it. I won't even know that. until she tells me, give me the time limit. When is the time?
5 more minutes.
5 more minutes. Okay. So that is a temple tank. We will have that. All expensive. That temple tank will cost us $250,000. The way we want to do it. But is it worth it? It is worth it, because when a person, devotee comes in, he looks at that, he thinks of that. It's all mind. Mind has to be aware. If you see a temple tank like that, you're going to think of that deity, and then you're going to think of Ambuja, Ambika. Then you're going to think of her in you. 70% of you is water. What a beautiful concept. What a beautiful way, approach to reach it. So she thought she has given up, I think, on us. She said, I am Ambuja, Ambika. I am in you. 70% of you is me. Why don't you think of me? So now I think of her. So that's one of the plan we're going to have. Cosmic deity. Have you heard of her? Ambuja, Ambika. Some of you might have. Traditional people know. But most people do not know. Now, this is the most important Siddha. You have to think of him. Maharishi. He is brother of Vashishta. Sabdarishi. Wonderful soul, great soul. And he's very actively present. And his consort, Lobamitra, is also very actively present. When I say actively present, meaning that energy is always present. And they're all available to us. You can think of them. Think of Agastya Bhagavan. I say Bhagavan because he is divine to me. That's what Bhagavan means. Agastya, Lobamitra. And we have them in our temple. You can see them, representation. But we are going to have them in a separate Sannidhanam. And that will grant you lots of benefits. And that information they gave themselves. So we'll have Agastya, Lobamitra, Sannidhanam. So when you come, you can see them. And they'll grant you much. Next slide. Do you have any more? Are we done, Shiva? Oh God, I got to say. Drishtipiram. That's very important. The mother said, this is Kali Yuga. Lots of asuric forces. You have to have help. I'll stop. You have to have help. To control the asura, you need certain deities who specialize in asuric control. In the ancient times, they called them Grama Devata. You know Grama Devata? Grama Devata. Villages. Every village will have one. And these are all those deities. And one of them, this Rakshambika. Have you heard of Rakshambika? Rakshambika is a very powerful deity. We will have her. You know how I came to know about her? There was a person who is a gynecologist. Not even a Hindu. You know her. And her mother is a doctor. They're not Hindus. She called me up about 4 years ago and said she's going through delivery and it's complex and they're going to do a surgery. Can he do something? I said, I'll go and ask mother. So I came to the temple and meditated mother, and this form came, Rakshambika. And within an hour, mother calls me and says, Doctor, I don't know what you did. Everything became normal. The baby moved around. We did not have to interfere. And this is a gynecologist, a professor of gynecology, not a Hindu. Everything is beautifully done. And the child is about 5 years old, and I say it's touched by mother, because she's a very special, gifted child. Because even the uterus itself was touched by this energy. So that is Garbha Rattambika. She's a super specialist. Must be a professor of gynecology herself. So that, Isaki Amman is another aspect. They call her Isaki Amman. Actually, it's Ichha Shakti. That is Ichha Shakti. Very important. Ichha Shakti is very important. Without that, the life won't go on. So many of them we will have, and they'll grant us a great deal of benefit. Next slide. Various aspects of Drishtipiram deities, 14 of them. We will have them all around. And many of them you won't know. Some of them you would know. Munishwara you would know. Karpusami you would know. They represent them like that. Because these are all, they don't have a form. The rishis represented them. So when they attack, when they are going to control the asuras, they have to look like asuras. So, but they don't have any form. They are pure energies. But they exist. You probably heard about them. Bhairava, of course, Bhairava is a very powerful aspect of Shiva. When Shiva was meditating, he was being affected by the asuras. So he took the most powerful aspect of himself, kept it next to him. That is Bhairava, to protect Shiva from the asuras. That's Bhairava. So we'll have a Sannidhanam. We already have one, but we'll have a separate Sannidhanam. I think I'll stop here. Thank you.
Give a big applause to Doctor. And without him, we will not have the temple. And without that temple, we won't be able to have opportunity to even do volunteer work or monetary contribution or Annadhanam, and also enjoy the mother and also learn. So he's given us all aspects of this one. So we like to thank Doctor and appreciate all his effort and his contribution to the temple. And we like to thank him now. Give a big applause to Dr. Kumar. He's been keep on trying to teach us everything to be more knowledgeable and more enjoy Mother's blessings. Give a big applause for him. Thanks a lot, Doctor. And we will do the Arati, and then we'll do the final Arati, and then we'll do the Prasadam after that. Before that, I like to call out our sponsors, major sponsor for Navarathri. Grand sponsor Madhurimika Kirti, Pramod and Vinod Kumar, Kishin Kamikondala, Gopal and Uma Shankar, Gayatri Podalakur,